Next, let's clear up politics. Trump pledges to overturn Biden's transgender protections on first day in office. If Donald Trump wins the presidency in November, he will reverse President Joe Biden's transgender protections. On day one, speaking on the Kayal Company radio talk show in Philadelphia, Trump criticized current policies allowing transgender individuals to participate in sports and use facilities aligned with their gender identity. He stated, quote, "The world is like a cuckoo's nest right now," end quote, referring to men playing in women's sports, among other issues. Co-host Dawn Stensland discussed concerns about biological boys in girls' locker rooms due to Biden's Title IX rule, which goes into effect on August 1st. This rule expands the definition of sex discrimination to include gender identity and sexual orientation, granting trans and non-binary students right to use facilities matching their gender identity. 20 Republican-led states have opposed the rule, filing lawsuits or vowing non-compliance. Talking about the rule, Trump said, quote, "We're going to end it on day one. The whole thing is crazy," end quote. He emphasized that parents should not worry about trans students in locker rooms. Trump, who previously enacted anti-trans policies during his presidency, plans to issue an executive order reversing Biden's protections. In the same interview, Trump also criticized Biden's handling of the Israel-Hamas conflict, immigration policies, and the stock market, calling Biden the worst president in U.S. history.
Because of Biden's manipulation of Title IX, these kids, the school boards, have no choice. They're meeting right now. Many of them perplexed, and they don't know what to do, Mr. President, because they're so upset over this that as of August 1st, a biological boy can change in a locker room, a dressing room.
It's crazy. Crazy.
What would you do
on day one? Don't forget that was done as an order from the president. That came down as an executive order, and we're going to change it on day one. It's going to be changed. We're going to end it. That's right. Boys can go into girls' locker rooms. The whole thing is crazy. Look, it's like men playing in women's sports. It's like open borders for the world to come in, send all their prisoners. We'll take as many as you can give us. Send all their people from mental institutions. No, we'll get that changed. Tell your people not to worry about it. It'll be signed on day one. It'll be terminated.
Just the sound of his voice irritates the living daylights out of me. There's just so much I could say. When he was talking about Biden being the worst president in history, I think that Trump has that. So he needs to just shut up. When we think about the January 6th insurrection, when we talk about the fact that he had foreign countries participating in our elections, trying to get him elected, and him handling the COVID-19 pandemic and all of those thousands and thousands of deaths due to him because he said that it wasn't even a thing.
Well, and on the Title IX issues, every trans woman I know has talked about how as soon as they started hormone replacement therapy, they lost all their strength. We talked about Misty Eyes earlier. I know when she first started, she had to have help just moving her furniture around to vacuum her living room, which she used to have no problems with. Women who are transgender women who are in the process of starting therapy, hormone therapy, and even afterwards, they don't have the strength of a cisgender male. They don't have the strength of a cisgender woman most of the time. That and the whole bathroom issue, they're complaining about, this is very much targeting trans women. Trans men don't get this target. If Laith Ashley walked into a women's room, people would have a fit because he's a very attractive man, happens to be transgender, but it's all targeting transgender women. Transgender men in sports happens all the time. They compete well, but it's not the target. They're going after the women, especially the women of color.
Well, when he talks about the locker rooms and the women, okay, what about the stories of him going into during the Miss America pageants and he'd walk back there, that sexual predator, they allowed that sexual predator, rapist, pervert to go back there and ogle the contestants
He wanted to
as they were getting... Yes.
And by the pussy.
And here's the other thing. May there never be a day one of a second presidential term of that decrepit, crooked, dirty, adult diaper wearing, withering scumbag. May it never happen.
Tell us how you real feel, Greg.
I just don't know. I don't want to change the subject, but I recently went and advocated on the behalf of trans people at the Capitol for Lobby Days, and I got to speak with some of our congressmen and representatives there, and we went to speak to Marco Rubio. So we didn't get a chance to speak to Marco Rubio, but we did get a chance to speak to his staff and his representative, and some of them were. There were like 2 trans people that were practically crying when we left. And I was there and I'm like, someone was like, excuse me, do you think that she should be would you feel comfortable with her in the bathroom with you? Do you want her in the bathroom with you? And he's like, I didn't say that. And, he just kept on, going on. And I think that people see these interpretations that they see online, where they have these bearded men that are going into the bathroom where our young girls are. And even myself, I've been trans since I've been living as a woman since I was 19 years old, and I'm 49. And I have never had a problem ever in the bathroom. And I've never known of anyone having problems into the bathroom until we started seeing the Republican Party talk about these issues. And I just feel like why don't you just talk about some real issues like our infrastructure and our education and our insurance rates and we can't even purchase a house here in Florida. Why can't we talk about some of these things instead of trying to pick on one of the most marginalized communities that they are?